Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and out the gate, you can see we got something completely different going on, right? So, basically, I was doing two bracelets that are almost identical in design. It's just a change in the sequence of the colors, and I kind of had talked about this a bit. So yeah, we're going to kind of cover that. You will notice the one on the left, see how that kind of ventured way off the screen there a bit? That's because we're using the great big bulldog clip as opposed to these little tighter clips, right? So it turns out when you're starting off, you kind of need that extra oomph to hold it into place. So that was one of the first things that I learned was the bigger clip does not work as well for that. But then once you get going, once you have the tube going, the bigger clip is much easier. It'll hold it just fine. So having both of them was sort of a thing. Time wise, I think they both came out to being really close to being exactly the same. They they have the same number of knots. They're the same exact pattern. So I mean, it by right it should be. I have to say, I personally preferred one over the other. And at this moment now, I can't tell you which one is which because I don't remember which side I put the two of them onto. But that said, we asked Mandy's friends which ones they liked, and they both liked the other one. So it's really subjective. I have no definitive way of saying which one turns out better, which one will be preferred, which one is more liked. Doesn't seem to matter. So now I can see the thing. Okay, so the one on the left is where it goes from the lightest blues up to the darkest blue, and then the darkest gray down to the white. The one on the right goes from the darkest blue to the lightest blue, and then the darkest gray to the lightest gray. So there's like this distinct break in between the two colors. So that's the difference between these two. So the first one I did is actually, the one on the left. And I did have a couple problems. One was, as I was nodding along, I inadvertently grabbed up a strand, just a single strand, from one of the strings in behind as I was doing the knots. And when I got to the other side and went to tie my knot, I only could find one strand. And I'm like, wait, where's the other one? And so I'm looking around and I'm trying to pull it apart. I'm like really confused. And then I kind of look inside and I can see it, just darting straight across to the other side and stuck into a knot. So I had to turn it around, find that one, undo the knot, slide it out, put back the knot that I had done, and could go out about my business. After that, of course, I became very paranoid, and that did not happen again. The other thing was I was happily going around, and I got done doing a row and went 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and got to the end and was ready to put in the thing in the middle. And one side had two and the other side only had one. And I'm like, wait a second, what the heck is going on here? So I double checked what I was doing and realized where I had gone 3, 3, 3 across, it was supposed to be the rows where there's 4. And so that meant I had to take out half of a knot of each one of those ones going across, and then tie it one further down, and then do the thing. Not a huge problem, not like, like backpedaling, a ton of space or whatever, but it was that originally had put me off from the whole pattern in the first place, because when I did the first bag, I was trying to do great big chunks at a time. And as a result, I kept having this problem of putting in the wrong number and then having to back out that row a bit. And that's why this pattern was, I always thought of as my nemesis. So it did happen to me again. just when I was starting to think that this thing wasn't all that difficult, it got me. But it only happened once. After that, again, I increased my diligence, I guess, my whatever, to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. So there you go. Other than that, everything went pretty smooth. Um, you can see there's some the right side is doing that weird thing with the light. So, oh yeah, so that had to be the first one I did because I got it fixed on the camera later on. So this whole thing was shot while I was in Malaysia. My wife had a work thing, and so I went along and I brought my easel and I made bracelets, and I had to record everything off of my phone. And yeah, so there was a little bit of problem with the lighting, mostly because I mean, I'm in a hotel. I don't have a whole lot of control. A lot of it was done with sunlight, which obviously didn't have the banding issue. But one of the lights I was using was a thing. And then when I kind of realized that that had been going on, I went into the settings and I found there's a thing for automatically fixing that, which I don't know why never had that turned on before, but yeah, that's kind of a thing. So I do apologize. I do realize, mind you, the whole idea of being able to do this while traveling is something that really does interest me. I would love to be able to do a lot more of that in the future. So I'm trying to figure out what tools I need in order to make that happen. And yeah, yeah. And one of them might be to not use my phone to record with, because obviously the phone isn't quite as good as my stuff I use here at home. So, but then I'd have to buy a laptop, or yeah, I would have to be a laptop, right? I have to buy a laptop, and I'm not sure I'm ready for all of that. We don't get away that much. As much as I'd like to, we don't get away enough that I think I can actually justify a laptop just yet. So we'll see. Maybe in the future, maybe we get a lot more YouTube members or some Patreon people want to help support the channel and think that, heck yeah. I honestly, I don't even know how powerful a laptop I would need to do most of what I do. And maybe it's one of those little tiny, um, I forget what the heck it's called. It's like the Androidish one, whatever that is. Like they're like the really inexpensive ones, right? The smaller, they don't. I don't know. I don't know what I would need. If you guys are into computers and you know a little bit about what's going on and how I would do the recording and how all this stuff would work, leave me a message. I really would like to know how to be able to take the show on the road and be able to do all this stuff. Um, I don't think I could do it on a moving train. I don't think there's like a place where I could actually put the easel or fix a camera if I'm using the clipboard. I have made bracelets on a train before, but I just had my leather clipboard, this thing. I don't think I could actually get away with the whole camera setup, but yeah, I just spitballing ideas, things I want to be able to do. Anyway, um, yeah, so this is each one of these took the better part of a day. Mind you, I think it came down to like video wise, like when I'm actually tying the knots, I think it came down to about 4 hours each, give or take. Um, but you know, in between there, getting something to eat, whatever else was kind of going on, it took it took all day. It was pretty insane. Um, yeah, these are pretty big. This is what, 32 strings? A 32 string, and it's a tube. Yeah, there was the spot where I had the string problem. You see I undid the knot? That was it. Um, yeah, so 32 strings in a tube. which means there's a lot of rotating it. I was happy though that with the 4 uh, in a row thing and how many rows you could get without having to turn it because it's so much bigger. Oh, and mind you, it stretches from one end to the other, which is pretty neat. Like it starts off with the white and ends with the white. I hadn't really, like when we made the pattern, I hadn't really thought about that a whole lot. But like looking at it, it's because there's so many more strings, it really takes it from one end all the way to the other. So I have the both of them. I'm gonna show you like a better reveal here in a minute. But yeah, I think it is pretty cool. I definitely think this is pretty neat. It's pretty chunky. I'm not gonna lie. This is a pretty big kind of bracelet here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anybody's gonna really want to wear something that chunky or not. I mean, I have seen bracelets. I guess I think when I think about it, those kind of big chunky bracelets, I think like the 70s and that kind of thing. That was like super popular. I don't know if that's really the style nowadays, but yeah, it is pretty neat. I mean, the colors and the way that it goes through, I like it a lot. I really do. So yeah, but I'm not gonna wear it. There's no way. It's way too chunky for me. Uh, let's see. Oh, so the first one, which is this one, I tried to keep from exchanging the strings. So when it started out with the white, I just kept going. Um, I didn't trade it with the other white that was going through. So that way I was just going to see like, could the strings go all the way through? It did, but it made for a short tassel. And you know, that kind of drives me insane, right? But I needed to know just for your guys' sake, like, how would this go? Do you have to worry about such things? What happens if you found a way to mix up the colors so one side has the white and the other side didn't or something? It's it's nice to be able to exchange it. You get to have both sides being long tassels. Mind you, you can put the longer one through and then tie it to the short one and be able to make up the difference. But yeah, it was kind of a thing. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, just a heads up. This is what happened. This is yeah. But yeah, and the other one, I really only had to exchange a couple, like the white and then the first two grays were like really all that has to get exchanged in order to be able to have nice long tassels, because everything else is pretty much not used nearly as often. So yeah. Again, doing the stuff so that way you guys don't have to, right? I mean, I seriously want to problem solve and help make your life easier, because I don't think you find a lot of this kind of information just necessarily in the wild. You're kind of expected to experiment and play around with things. So if I can spot something that might actually help out, I really do like that a lot. So yeah, these are the video here, by the way, is seriously sped up. It's like, I think it's 8 times the speed, something like that. It's pretty intense. So yeah, I think I'm kind of done with tubes for a little bit. I got an order while I was away, and so yeah, we're gonna explore something that I made quite a while ago, and remaking it seems like it could be a lot of fun. So I've kind of grown as a channel since then, and my recording things have become better and all that kind of stuff. So kind of going back to an old thing and remaking it does kind of actually excite me. So that's coming up here real soon. I just first have to find strings and stuff, and then I can work out patterns. And yeah, so that's coming up. I think there's a bunch of stuff that is going to be kind of a little bit different, something new, kind of exciting, kind of fun. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think this kind of comes down to almost the very end. I mean, you can see the white on the right hand side is almost there. But I think it cuts off the last couple seconds. It's not a big deal, but yeah, hopefully you guys got a sense of like how this works and how you can do it. And yeah, hopefully enjoy it. Yeah, we're almost to the end. All right, I will be right back with some more stuff. Okay, so here we are at the hotel, and the tablet there, that was for me to use to basically get the pattern started and going, and that was my view out the window. And here's here's me with the whole thing all finished. And yeah, there's the bracelet looking awesome. Way cool. And yeah, it is much, much later in the day. So yeah, that was kind of a thing. So anyway, here's the bracelet. So this is the one where I was saying that when you're doing a fade, you can have like this harsh change between the lightest and then the darkest color. And it happens twice over. Once it gets to the lightest blue, it goes to the darkest gray. In this case, the darkest gray doesn't seem that menacing compared to like if I'd used like a black, then that would have shown up a lot harder. But yeah, I just kind of went with those four instead. And this is the other one where it slowly gets darker and then comes back to slowly getting lighter. Now, my wife and I, we kind of like this one best. And then our friends like this one best. So it was a tie. There was 2 votes for one and 2 votes for the other. And again, it's a personal preference. Make them both and see what your friends say. See which ones they want to, you know, invest in for themselves or, whatever. And again, you can use like this color combination for any of the other rainbow ones that we recently did. This just kind of gives you an idea of setting up the colors, what that's going to do, and what that might look like. So there you go. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I will try my best to answer everything. Before I go, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for making this stuff possible. Needing the string to pull these things off. There's a lot of string in this. So I really appreciate all the help that you guys do. It really does make this channel a much better thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of other stuff coming up here in the near future. A lot of good ideas coming. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.